Guys, deluded, I'm back again. YouTube's N'Golo Kante, YouTube's Lucas Torreira and all of them sort of things there. Fridays equals Q&A day. So without further ado, people, thank you very much for the questions. You know I can't do it without you. I'm not a loner, I'm not a beggar, I'm not a weirdo like these other YouTubers. I ain't going to sit here and make up questions for myself. That's a waste, man thing. So I praise you lot. If I've missed out any questions, apologies. You guys know already I don't do these things on purpose. Please get in there with more questions. Let's keep this thing going. Obviously, it's international break week as well, so I know you lot been waiting. So let's crack on. Some good questions, man. I don't know if to start from the top or bottom, so I'm going to start from the top, man. Let's just keep it normal. Ooch has asked me, create your ideal centre-half. That's easy. Rio Ferdinand, Sol Campbell, John Terry, Tony Adams, Vidic, Puyol, Lucio. If you ask me to build it from scratch, first and foremost, you've got to be brave. I can't have a centre-half that isn't brave. If you're not willing to put your foot in your head, lose a tooth, something like that. You've got to be good organisation-wise. Organise the people around you, because that can mask your insecurities, or insecurities ain't the right word, your, deficiencies as a player. I want to see him good at marking, obviously composing in the air, from whether it's clearing corners or being a threat from set pieces. You got to be able to tackle. Your positional sense has got to be there. I want to see good in the recovery. I actually want to see a centre-half that only really goes to ground when they need to. I know people love John Terry for slide tackling, but he was only going to ground if he was winning the ball. You see what I'm saying? A coach once said to me, if you ever need to slide tackle, it means you made a mistake. And that's actually that stayed with me. I like sliding, but that changed my game. So, yeah, man. Next question, Jordan asks is, do you rate Sergio Roberto? I believe he's underrated. To a degree, I believe that too, my guy. And the answer is obviously yes, I do. Issa asks is, do you think Adama of Wolves, if Unai signed him and worked on him, would you entertain such a shout? We're at that point where we probably have to take a chance on players that people turn up their nose with. I know Sadio Mane, people might look at that example and turn up their nose, but when he was at Southampton, people could see he was a good player. But if he was supporting a top 6 club, or you ask anyone, many people are like, don't know. I know you guys remember when he was wearing them yellow F50s. Now look, he took a chance. Now look, the same could be said for Salah. People would call him a Chelsea flop, etc. Now you see it. So between going for players like that, or players with the likes, probably Damari Gray, Adama, players that you can see that there's a player in them that just need to be worked with a couple things. The problem is, any of the examples I gave you, that's minimum 40, maybe even 50 million in today's day and age. So it's a myth. We probably have to look at scouting players that are playing for very lower league clubs. So yeah, I would entertain it. Bello asks is, what do you think of Tyrese John Jules? I like him a lot as a player. I like he's for me, he looks stronger early on in the season. He's obviously a good goal scorer. I think his link-up play slept on. He's a good player, man. We'll see how he develops, but I'm confident about him. You've put, should Iwobi play number 10 for our Europa League games, in your opinion? Iwobi's future is in midfield, central midfield, or in the 10, bro. I honestly believe that he can play out wide, but that's not his strengths. He's good at connecting short passes. He's actually very good, in my opinion, playing football in tight areas when you're heavily marked. He actually drops deep a lot as well, which enables Ozil and them lot to stay further forward. So, not even just Europa League games, in general, I'll be for that. Igals asks, do you think Luke Shaw is playing for a big payday and not for his United future, if you get me? Well, it's in his prerogative to play well, whether it's to earn a new deal. I don't know if United have another year's extension in that, but it's his prerogative to play well, because you either get a move to a top 6 side or a better Premier League side than he was linked with last transfer window. You can get a new contract at United, which he looks like he's on the right track to doing. So he obviously wants to get back in the England squad. Away from all of that, you just want to prove all of these doubters wrong that call you spoiled, that question your attitude, that question your application, and all of these things. So he's playing for that, in my opinion. Next, you've asked, do you like the idea of playing 4-4-2 with 2 right backs, one as a midfielder and one as a right back? Only in games where I don't expect to dominate possession, or if a team favours the left-hand side and I feel we've got to be a bit more solid down that side. I wouldn't do it frequently, but games like that where you've got to be a bit more cerebral and tweak your tactics a bit, I'm all for that. And that's actually a big failure of Arsene Wenger in the last few years, and actually something I want to see Unai Emery drop. And that's actually what I mean half the time when I'm saying different tactics, different games call for different tactics, and makes us unpredictable. So you're on the right track. You've also got, do you see analytics becoming more part of a game, in the sense of when a player should shoot or pass? I don't really get that question, but if you're going on the sense that statistical data will be presented to players which tells them, I don't know, in the 30th minute you're better at passing than the 50th or crap along them lines, then sure, man, because you're already seeing things similar to that. I think you're probably many years ahead, but you've already seen that. You've heard Liverpool always talk about how the analysts have told them how teams are weak from throw-ins or things like that. Even Lacazette, last fixture, he said that the analyst told them that if they hit the ball with a lot more power than they normally do, they have more of a chance of scoring against that particular keeper. So we are on the right track. We are getting to that. So you're right, man. Could you see the Premier League doing an NFL style pass for games? I'm not too clued up on the NFL style of the NFL pass for games, but I'm assuming that you can watch if you buy your team's one or the NFL, you have the whole package. You can watch the whole games. I'd like to think that, but with TV rights, with numerous TV stations, it's way too lucrative for them to do something like that. But I'd love it to happen. And I do believe that probably 10, maybe 15, 20, 30 years ahead. But in fact, it's not even that, man. It's probably 5 years. But yeah, man. Your name's not Paul. Sorry, bro. Peter's asked, DG, a fit Daniel Sturridge or Lukaku? Sturridge, if he's fit's probably got more ability than Lukaku, but I'm going with my guy Romero. I would rather Lukaku, and I think he would score more goals, to be honest with you. It might not be pretty, but he'll score goals. Chaos has asked, I doubt Emre knows his best side right now. Does that make it easier for young players to get a chance or harder? Well, it could. Yes and no. Because times if a manager doesn't really trust what he's got, he might go for young players. But in regards to Arsenal's case, if you're in Emre and you're taking over a man that's been there for 22 years, you need to improve the defense, the attack, implement your own style, and do all of these things. The last thing you're really gonna have a time for is to see young players. Not because you might not want to, but you've got to get immediate results. So they could aid with that, but it's difficult, bro. So I say yes and no. More pointing to no. Pot Noodles asked, since we lack an out-and-out winger and Bellerin is better going forward than being in defence, do you think he could be deployed as a winger in the future? No, my guy. Only in games similar to a question I've asked where if we put another right-back up behind him, I get your thinking. In certain games, if it could fly, but Bellerin wouldn't. For me, if I was putting him there, Bellerin wouldn't play as a midfielder. He'd play as a wing-back or a winger. He'll play as a full-back, like two full-backs on that side. He did used to be a winger, and you have to ask yourself the question, if he continued as a winger, would he be at Arsenal or any top six side? You'd probably, or linked with Barca once upon a time, you'd have to probably say no, because if you look at his application and his technique, it's not there. That's not a criticism of him. I used to be a winger. I actually used to be a striker, and every year I seem to be moving back, and now I'm a fullback. And I mean, if I was a bit taller, I'm about 5'8". If I was a bit taller, 5'8", 5'9", let's give it 5'9". But if I was about 6 foot, probably moved to centre half as well. So nah, my guy, man. Generally no, but certain games probably. You've also got similar question. Since Iwobi has a good eye for a pass and an eye and I messed that up. Since Iwobi has a good eye for a pass, and he's shown in the last couple of seasons, do you think he could play in a more central and creative role and drift out like Hazard? Definitely, my guy. The problem now is for that, Iwobi would need to come up several levels. He would need to definitely score more and assist more to get that. Because, I mean, regardless of how stagnant Ozil people might say he is, he's 10 times the player Iwobi is currently. So to get immediately into regards to Arsenal, that's what he needs to do. If you're asking me on a general basis, away from the like being given specific examples, of course, my guy can. I believe his future is more in midfield than it is on the flanks. So yeah, man, great question. Movie and football 101 asked, do you eat pizza without pineapples? If so, I can't trust you, bro. Wait, if you can't trust me, boy, I'm in good company. I'm scared of guys like you, man. I'm just gonna comply, man. Anyone that puts pineapple on pizza, not even the police need to deal with them. MI5 need to come get them guys and send them Guantanamo Bay. Because you're dangerous. You're dangerous. You're mad dangerous. But nah, man. You didn't even say sweet corn or peppers or something. Pineapples. You're a dodgy guy, bro. You're a dodgy guy. If you moisturize your skin, I know you don't moisturize the areas people don't see. You're a beaky guy. But it's all love, man. Main man Nubbers asked, thoughts on the new Euro qualification league? I don't really have anything. I think it's a different dog, same shit essentially, to be honest with you. It does look a bit more competitive. It is a bit more enticing, but seeing is believing, and admittedly, I'm not exactly clued up on it, so I can't really have any opinions. You've also put, do you think the Caribbean and the Oceania region should be given at least one guaranteed spot at the World Cup? I doubt it. I don't think so. I can see your points. I can see your reason for saying that. I mean, I've made enough vids about that. I get it. But the word for me that I'm stuck up on is guaranteed. I don't believe no matter how good you are or how rubbish you are, no one should be guaranteed anything. Obviously, if you're hosting the World Cup, that's a different story. But I don't necessarily believe anyone should be guaranteed anything. And that's why when people say, oh, the likes of, I don't know, Iran, Morocco, these sides there shouldn't be allowed to play in the World Cup because they have no realistic chance of winning it, I say that's disrespectful because there's no guarantees of qualifying for that World Cup. They've all had to do it in their each and own rights. Whether you believe they can win it or not, they deserve to be there. So yeah, man, that's me. You also put, which parts of history and politics are you interested in? Politics, just a general theme, to be honest. I mainly central towards emerging markets. I pay close attention to my homeland in UK, for example, for obvious reasons. I need to be aware of what's going on around me in this ever-changing landscape with the rise of far right, and the left don't know what they're doing, and there's not really a central party. But yeah, and you've also put, what books on human psychology do you read? Well, probably not any directly like it says human psychology on the book, but I'd probably say How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, if I remember correctly. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Anything by Robert Greene, down from the 50th Law, the 48 Laws of Power, Seduction. That sounds a bit big, innit? But these sort of books, innit? So that would be mine. You've also asked me which parts of history I'm interested in as well. Probably slavery, for obvious reasons. Slavery in many regions, how slavery economically impacted people, how people were compensated, just anything about slavery. The people who were instrumental behind it. Like, I never learnt in school about Cecil Rhodes and them sort of man there that were doing the madness, and learning about how these sort of things play. I was actually watching a documentary about how Israel came to be and how Pakistan was meant to be. And it's actually crazy because Jamaica, Guyana, for example, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Israel, these countries are very young. Like, I realized through history, I've realized I'm 23, but I haven't, like, these things were meant, like, these things happened more or less in my parents' ages or grandparents. Like, the world is very small, is very young in a sense. It's old, but it's very young. So I like to see that. I like to read a lot about and look a lot about Great Depressions and depressions all over the world and in financial crises in general, because I do believe these things, repeat themselves, and it's just a cycle. I'd say I'm not an economist. I mean, I don't know nothing about it, but I'd say my interests go more towards that side than politics. But yeah, man, hopefully I've answered your question, my guy. Apologies for shaking the table there. Twitter's made that saying shaking the tables made Twitter's giving that a new reason. But JP's asked, do you think El Nene could be used in the right back if push comes to shove? Yeah, but hell no, my guy. You've also put, do you know Tion, I can't say that name, Cup Miners of AS Alkmaar? I do know of the player. He's a midfielder. He's a decent passer, and I think he's okay at tackling, but I haven't got extensive research on him. I just know who the player is. I'd welcome your input because clearly you're more clued up on the man than me. So yeah, man, I know DG covers a lot, but I can't get everything. So yeah. Tinashe's asked, what does this low move mean for Reece Nelson? It means that he's going to have to show consistency, or he's not going to be playing for the side. It's away from academy football in a pretty cutthroat environment. Hoffenheim are trying to get results. They got Champions League football this year. They're trying to repeat that. So he's going to need to show consistency. He's got the 9 shirt, so he's going to be given a chance, but there's going to be big expectations. If he's not playing well, he's coming out the side. He also needs to build upon the 16 appearances he made last year, and that's what he's going there for. And he'll come back a stronger player, ready to fight for a first team spot, probably given a smaller squad number. And yeah, because I mean, this is where we have to be careful with hype, because you can see the level that he's currently at, was at last year, isn't for the hype, and it led people to calling him overrated, which is nonsense. But he's a young man. He's 18, turning 19. Let him develop. He'll come back a bigger player. You've also thought, is there a fight between Saka, Amici, and Emil Smith? They can all play the same role, so I see why you say that. But I'd say no, they're probably all at different stages. Emil Smith's probably ahead of everyone. Saka is closer than people think. It's his first year as a scholar. Give him a year or two. Let him calm it down. Amici needs to build up on the great season he had as a first-year scholar, which no doubt